Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB Bikini Pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Today we are speaking with an athlete and mama who earned her master's degree in political science while living in Brazil before moving to the United States in 2011, where she has become a NASM certified personal trainer who helps athletes to prep for competitions and coach others in person and online alongside her husband, Andre, with their company Body Architects USA. She was inspired to compete as a way to prioritize herself and make her dreams come true. So in May, she stepped on stage for the first time, won the overall at that show, went on to Universe in July, where she then became an IFBB Bikini Pro, of course, winning first place in her open class and Masters over 35. So I'm very excited to learn from this woman and welcome her to the show. So welcome to the show, An Salles. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Awesome. I'm very happy to be connecting with you. And I do find it super impressive. You earned your pro card in 2 shows, but obviously looking at your physique and your journey, it was definitely and most clearly earned over years of hard work and commitment. So I'm excited to hear about that. And as you know, I got to ask you if you have a ritual or a practice or anything you do right before your heel hits the stage.
I don't really have a ritual as I've only done it twice, but
That's kind of what I figured. I was like, I wonder if she has.
yeah, not yet. But I really try to stay connected to myself, keep my mind relaxed. Um, I see that you can meet a lot of very nice people that will try to help you stay confident and calm. But also, there are not so nice people that will try to make you feel insecure and give you the look. So I really try to stay focused on me, and I stay connected to my husband, to my daughter. So that's my moment to feel calm.
Oh, I love that. You focus on what you really value and what really matters to you.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, I know that I've heard different things about like how pros will find it can be more catty at the national level than the pro level. So I am curious if you're planning on a pro debut anytime soon.
A pro debut.
Yes.
I I'm well, I didn't get a very precise feedback from my last show. So the judges
Oh.
actually told me everything looks great. So I would just do a pro show to see how you look next to the pros. Um, I thought about doing one right away, but then my parents came to visit. It was like my dad's 70th birthday, and I was like, well, I really need to be with them at this moment. I can't commit 100%. And to do a show, to do a pro show, you really need to be able to do it 100%. Otherwise, I prefer not to do. So I decided to wait, and maybe I was thinking about Florida Grand Prix, something here close, not too far, and maybe June, July, something around that.
That's awesome. Well, it would be really cool to do that because isn't that the first show you
It
did?
is. It
That'd be
is. Actually, it's
cool.
gonna be 1 year after my first show. Yeah, that's where I won the overall. Yeah.
That would be really amazing and quite symbolic of your journey.
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk about that journey a little bit, but I kind of want to go way back in time to 2011 when you actually moved to the US from Brazil. Like what brought
hmm
you here?
Okay. So I moved here because my previous husband actually got a job offer. So I had just finished my master's degree in Brazil. And we decided to accept the opportunity and try life here to see. So that's how I moved here originally.
Wow. Okay. And what did you notice was different about America from Brazil?
Food, food is actually very different. I would say that I feel that we have more fresh food in Brazil. Um, I don't know. I see like sometimes I buy an apple and it lasts like 2 weeks, and I'm like, how, And it doesn't happen there. It's like everything's very fresh. It tastes different.
Hmm.
Um, Also, I had help there, which I don't have here. So sometimes I have to use like frozen vegetables because it makes my life easier. I don't have a lot of time to be cooking, and so it's not my favorite thing to do. But I feel that it's easier to do diet here too because we have a lot of those. It's hard to find those big bags of frozen vegetables in Brazil, for example. Everything is very fresh, so it saves time when you have a busy life and you need to meal prep. So yeah, it can be easier here. And other than that, I think I feel safer here too. As you know, Brazil has a high rate of criminality, so in this sense, it's different being here in the U.S.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you grew up in Brazil, right?
I did. I'm from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Yeah.
Okay. And was bodybuilding something you were aware of even back then, or did you only realize it when you came here?
No, no. I I grew up dancing ballet, so that's something I did since I
Hmm.
was 3. Yeah. But I would go to the gym, but like not consistently. I was never on a meal plan before. No, nothing. So that's something I actually started here, like about a year or so after I moved. I actually started feeling a bit depressed because I was far from my family, from my friends. So I actually hired an online coach. He lived in Miami, but he was very busy, so he did basically online. He was from Brazil too, and I got like really good results in like 2 months of program. Then that really motivated me to keep going, and then I fell in love with it, and then I never stopped.
Wow. Well, you had a really successful start in the sport, but you had been living that lifestyle before. So when you decided to get into fitness, were you like out of dancing for a few years at that point, or was it something you were still doing?
No, no, I stopped dancing when I turned 17 and I started college because I couldn't really do both. And then in Brazil, it's a bit different, I think. I did 4 years of college plus 3 years of master's. So I was in school like for a long time,
Mhm.
like 7 years, right? And so I was not dancing. I did not have time to do anything else. I was really focused on that. I was planning on getting my PhD. That was my focus back then. I wanted to be a professor at the university.
Oh,
So fitness and dancing, no, I
wow.
wasn't doing anything. Yeah.
Okay. And you were studying, you said you would have liked to have gotten your PhD, but you completely moved away from that field. It seems like going from political science to then fitness. Was that something,
hmm
did you see that coming, I should say?
Ah, it was, I know I didn't see that coming. It was something that, I started doing and I felt so good. And it changes so many things in your life. I think I became more confident. I became more energetic. And, like back in São Paulo, I would study and then like go out like to bars and restaurants. It's a different lifestyle. And then once I started the fitness, I would enjoy more daily activities. I would want to go to do outside sports. It changes everything. So it's a big difference, and that's what really makes me happy. The lifestyle I live now.
I love that. And when did you meet your husband? Because he seems to be playing a big role in your journey now, too.
Right, yeah. So I met my husband at the gym.
Oh.
I joined the gym and he was a personal trainer there. Back then he barely spoke English. He's from Russia.
Oh,
Yeah, so he actually reached out to me on Instagram first. And
that's
he asked me if I was home and if I was going back to the gym to do cardio. So that was our first date, I guess. We met at the gym and we did cardio together.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then he used Google Translate in the beginning. Then he started studying English, and now he's here like taking Portuguese lessons.
That's so cool. I love it. That just goes to show you that if someone is interested and wants to make it happen, they'll make it happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
That's super cool. And you coach with him now. So, and you've obviously
Right.
been able to like establish this lifestyle and you both really live it. You're also a mother. So, how have you been able to establish a lifestyle that you can maintain year round along with your physique that supports all of these roles you play?
So my husband is also an athlete, and actually that's how he moved here to the US. He used to be a bodybuilder. Now he does arm wrestling. So he's been doing that since he was 15. Like he started very young, and because we both have the same lifestyle, um, it works because I feel that he understands what is important for me, and I understand what's important for him. We share the same habits, and he actually supported me since day one when I said I wanted to do a competition. He was actually before me. He was like, "You should do. You know, you always have the physique, and you never go on stage. What are you waiting for?" So he that was really important because I didn't have that before. So like eating clean and exercising are two things that are like non-negotiable here at home. So we both have this lifestyle and we pass this to our daughter. She also um, understands. We talk a lot about how food is important, being healthy, being energized. Not so much the aesthetics part of it with her. She's 4, but how it's important to get the vitamins, the minerals, um, to feel energized, to play, to learn. So to exercise. So everything is it's our lifestyle. So it's not like something difficult. Once you establish the lifestyle, you maintain it throughout the year. It's not difficult. It's your life.
I totally agree with that. Like I look back and I can't even imagine not living this life because I literally started in high school like bringing meal prep
Hmm.
containers to school and like carrying gallon jugs around like and now that's over 7+ years. I can't
Oh
imagine.
wow.
Like can you
Wow.
imagine though like
Yeah.
in 5 years you just not doing this, like not going to the
No.
gym? That just it's like
No, absolutely not. It's yeah. And once my mom actually like when I started, she's like, "So what are you gonna do? You're gonna live on a diet?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I
yes.
don't see this as living in a well, yes, but I'm not that I enjoy. Listen, we're gonna eat no matter what, right? So why not to choose to eat something that is gonna make you feel good and that it's gonna keep you healthy and active. So it's I don't do it just uh, for the show. For example, I don't want to get my body ready for the show. I like to have a look. I like to feel in a certain way. So that's why it is a lifestyle. It's not just being on a diet. It's the way I live my life. That's how I see this.
Absolutely. And I think people sometimes see this lifestyle and they perceive it to be like a restrictive diet, but everything's about perspective and something you have embodied
Right.
for yourself is like how it nourishes you, how it supports you, how it gives you health. And you're teaching that to your daughter too, which made me wonder if having a daughter changed your own perspective on nutrition or your body, or maybe brought you a new one?
Um, I don't know. I try not to focus on the aesthetics part of it, like I said, and I try to tell her how it is important to be healthy, like to be energized and everything. Um, and I guess that's one of the reasons why I wanted to step on stage too. So it's not just to have a beautiful body, but to do something with that body. And even though you said it's not, people see as a restrictive lifestyle, it is restrictive when you're getting ready for the show because then you know you have to be 100% on the plan. Like uh, all year long, I don't see it as something that stops me from doing things. We go out to restaurants. I just choose healthier. I still have my macros under control, but not as strict as I have when I'm doing a show. So during my pregnancy, the first trimester was really hard because I was feeling very tired and I couldn't smell like broccoli or tilapia. All I wanted to eat was like, I wanted to eat like pizza, you know, things that I never eat, that I never crave. And that was hard in the beginning. But then like second trimester was easier. Then I could go back to a plan. I could go back to my workouts as they were before. And then 3 months after I gave birth, my body was like back to what it was before. So yeah.
Do you think that's just because it was such a lifestyle for you?
Yeah. And because I felt very uncomfortable after you give birth to a child, your body goes through so much too that it's hard for you to look in the mirror and see that after, you know, I was like stage ready before that. And then I gained what is that, 14 kilos in pounds. It's about 28 pounds,
Yeah, around that.
something around that. Yeah. So I wanted to go back. I wanted to go back to feel good in my own body, and I did a thing. I worked out, I did my cardio, I counted my macros, and then that was it. 3 months I was back to it.
I think a lot of people overcomplicate it, and it sounds like you really just said, okay, I faced the challenges that my body was experiencing first trimester, got through that. Second trimester, things started to feel more normal, and you went through this amazing experience of creating life. And then at the end of it, you were like, okay, I'm ready to get the physique or the body back after everything that you had been through. How did becoming a mother change demands of energy and time? And did that impact things like your schedule or your training split or things like that?
Right. So in the beginning, it's hard, especially because I don't have family here. So all my family is actually in Brazil, and now my sister lives in Australia, and my husband doesn't have family here too. They're all in Russia. So it was like the two of us and the baby. And then it's really hard to find a babysitter that you trust. So before I got pregnant, we were like, oh, that's gonna be easy, you know. We have a baby, we go to the gym, the baby sleeps while we work out and do cardio, and that's it. But it's not like that. Sophia was like every 2 hours she was crying, screaming. It was hard. So what I did, I started like jumping rope while she would take her naps at home. And then that's how I did my cardio at home while she was sleeping in my living room. And food I had to eat no matter what. So let's just pick the right thing to eat.
Exactly.
And and then over the time she grew, as she grew, she started going to a daycare. And then finally this year she was staying a little bit longer at the daycare. So I could really fully commit like to a program 100%. So I was like, okay, so you know, now I have the time, now I have the help. She's grown up, she understands. So I thought that was the time for me. And I'm 37. I'm like, if I don't do this now, when am I gonna do it? You know? So that's why I thought that this was the right time to do it now with the daycare and everything. And then my husband helps me too. I'm like, I need to go to cardio, so he stays, plays with her. So yeah, we can make it happen if we just have to know how to manage time, have that, you know, that 1 hour that you need to do your cardio or whatever, the 30 minutes for the workout. And because it's possible. If you really want to do it, you manage, it's possible. You wake up a little bit earlier and you make it happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that's true whether you're a parent or not in this sport. There's that demand of the desire. So if you have the desire to do it and you're willing to actually adjust your priorities or your schedule in order to follow through, it feels a lot easier because it's something you want to do versus something you're like, oh, I have to go do this now.
Exactly. You really need to want to do it. And I waited a long time to do it because I was always like, ah, you know what? I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And I always wanted to look, which was a mistake. I should have done it before. That's what I think, that if someone wants to compete, do it, and then you're going to get feedback, and it takes time to build a pro physique. I see a lot of girls that all they want is to get a pro card. And I think to myself, why? If you don't have the pro physique, why are you so in a hurry to get your pro card? Because you're going to step on a pro stage and you're going to be competing with people that have all this physique that you don't have yet. So I think that, we need to have time to build the physique, and the desire. You need to love it. It can be something that, oh, I gotta go to the gym. If you don't like doing it, then you shouldn't do it.
No, that's exactly right. Otherwise, yeah, it's not going to be a very fulfilling journey. And
Exactly.
you said that you kind of wish you had started it before, but then we do look at your journey and we see that you had the pro physique before obviously earning the pro card. So had you started earlier, maybe you wouldn't have had that same journey, do you think?
I wouldn't have had the same muscle maturity I have right now, because that takes time to build for sure. But I would have had the stage experience, the fun experience of being on stage, because it is fun. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's
So fun.
And posing, for example, that's something I never practiced before I stepped on stage. Like 3 months before, Romina works out at the same gym that as I do, and then I hired her to be my posing coach, so she started helping me there. But that's something I didn't know how to do. So there is a lot of like little things that I think that if you start early, and then you can really focus on, okay, so the judge is going to give you feedback. You need more shoulders, work more on your glutes, so you can really focus more on what to grow than just like from a judge perspective, from the judge's lens. So you can really be more focused if what you want is to become a pro and follow the career.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I look back and I'm sometimes like, oh, if I had just not prepped, I could have built or used that time frame to build. But on the other side of things, like I've got so much stage time and there's a lot of value in that.
For
So
sure, for sure.
yeah, now I mean you're a pro, you've stepped on stage twice, you've clearly invested a lot into this lifestyle. What are you currently focusing on?
So as I told you, I don't have like a feedback like grow more this or you're too big here, we need less this. So what I really want to do is to work on a routine, because I am not confident with my posing. And I want just to even like walking on the heels and doing all the, I'm not confident with that yet. Um, I want it to look more natural. I want to keep practicing that. And I'm trying to keep my physique as it was, just focusing on glutes and on shoulders, back, right? And
Yeah.
I have to, that's bikini.
Yeah.
And I have to be very careful because I can gain quads very easily. So, and that's something I don't want to have, like big quads. It's not for bikini. So I really have to be careful when doing my workouts with my quads. So I'm really focusing on glutes and shoulders, but not trying to get um much bigger, because I don't think that that's what they didn't ask me that. So
Yeah.
that's what they told me, you got to listen to the judge, what the judge says, and then work on that. So what I have really to do is just to step on the pro stage and get the feedback and then work on something from there.
That's going to be really awesome. And you had been told at one point, like, I believe anyways, to bring your quads down. And that's what influenced you to just focus on the glute training. So what did you do to maintain or even at some point build your glutes without hitting legs? Because I know there's a lot of women, I'm sure, listening who are like, I have that same problem where my quads just blow up. So as a coach yourself, what would you recommend?
Yeah, so I'm really doing isolated exercises right now. Kickbacks, hip thrusts. I don't do heavy squats. I have to be careful, even like with deadlifts, because of my back too, because I have very strong back. So I don't want my midsection to grow too. I have to be very careful with that. I've been doing vacuum and isolated, a lot of isolated exercises. Um, yeah, but if someone is beginning, that's not what I suggest. That's where I am. That's the point that I am right now, that I'm not doing squats, because I did a lot of heavy squats to build what I have right now. I'm just at a point that I need to tweak like certain things that I need to adjust to fit in the category. But it's that's very individual. So I don't think that I could recommend that to someone, because it really depends on what stage you are, how much muscle maturity you have, because squats are important in my point of view, not right now for me.
Absolutely. So for you, it's like you're just focusing on bringing up the areas or maintaining the areas of which you know are going to help you be successful.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
Are you a competitor looking to make mental gains and further your personal development? Are you struggling with the post-show blues or feeling the pressure of prep? Maybe you're lost somewhere in the middle and not sure what's next. If you really want to make peace with food, your body, and your goals, then I highly recommend you check out my competitor card deck, which can be found at www.celestial.fit/cards. This is a free resource for competitors, and the deck includes 3 different series. One is affirmations and I am statements. Another is the thought-provoking question prompts that you could journal on or just think about. And the last deck includes action steps with specific mentorship that is going to support you in those areas of which I just mentioned. So whether you're looking to feel better in your own skin, develop a healthier relationship with food, feel more motivated, connect deeply with yourself, or really get into your mindset to bring you closer to your goals, then these cards are for you, and I would love to see you utilizing them. Again, you can visit www.celestial.fit/cards to download yours right away. Awesome. Well, I love that. And I think it would be helpful too, just in your journey, if you could share like what training style you generally have followed in prep, and same with nutrition, and if that varies when you go into your improvement season.
Right. So I don't train, I don't change my training routine if I'm off season or in prep. I train glutes 3 times a week, on shoulders once a week, and back once a week.
Nice.
Yeah. And usually stay on low fat, um, and higher carbs, protein. I just like before when I start prepping, we cut the carbs, and that's the hard part when you start feeling a little bit hungrier until your hormones are regulated. Yeah, and that's complicated too, because I got ready very fast for my first show, like way ahead. So my weight just kept dropping. I was getting too cut. I had striations. When I walked, you could see everything on my glutes, on my quads. So I was too lean. I was too cut. So then there was a point that from eating, I don't know, like 1,200 calories, I started eating 3,000 calories. And then I was like probably 10 days in like 3,000 calories. So the weight would stop dropping, and I would fill up the muscles, and then and that's complicated because your hunger hormones get all messed up too. You're used to this amount of food, and then you have a lot of food, and then after you finish the show, what do? You want to eat, and then but if you keep eating, you're gonna keep gaining. So you got to go back to cutting. So that's a very, I think, delicate moment, the post show. That's when you really have to be focused, I think, on reverse dieting, so you don't blow up.
Has that ever happened to you?
It happened. Yeah, the first show it happened. And then I went back into focus because I wanted to do the universe, and I had what, uh May, June, July, 2 months, right? Yeah, only
Wow.
2 months. So yeah. And then I
So
went back, yeah. Hmm.
did you know that you were going to do that show when you had finished your first show, or was that a decision that was made after having like a little rebound?
No, I was not expecting doing any shows. I just wanted to do one to see. And then I was very surprised that I won the overall.
Yeah.
And and then I thought about doing Pittsburgh because I was like, well, that's a master show. Let me do the master show. And then my coach was like, no, let's do universe. I want you to compete in the open category. And then I was like, let's do the masters. He's like, no, no, let's do open. I'm like, okay. And then yeah, and then I won. So I was actually very, very happy that I won both because
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So
really
yeah, that was
cool.
a that was a decision that we took like after he was like, okay, so let's get the pro card. And then I'm like, okay, let's do it.
At the time, did you know what the IFBB Pro League was?
Yeah, yeah, I was actually coaching athletes before I stepped on stage.
Oh,
Um, yeah, yeah. I had uh, I had coached bikini athletes before, so absolutely.
okay, got it. And so you had been coaching, and of course, I believe this is because your husband's history as well, and then you got educated in it and you decided to do it. It must have been interesting to actually go from coaching it to then executing on it and doing it. Did it change your perspective at all as a coach?
Mm, it made me realize how important posing is.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's the part, like when you go through the process and you really understand that that can make you win or lose a show too. Sometimes you can have the best physique if you don't know how to show, um, you know, you're not gonna win. So maybe in this sense, yes, like it opened my eyes for this, like to be more attentive to posing.
Interesting. Okay. And so do you do posing coaching as well?
N- Not yet. No, I don't. I don't feel that I am at a point that I should be doing that. I still want to learn myself a lot before I start coaching. I will give my athletes like some advice, yes, but I always recommend them hiring someone that does that, like has experience with that, only with posing, yeah, especially if you're a pro athlete. Yes.
Love it. Now that definitely makes sense. And I'm sure that in your process, like you've learned a lot about yourself, about your athletes, obviously about the sport. You're currently just focusing on bringing your best. So when you do make your pro debut, you're able to see how you stack up against them and go from there. And I know with this journey with this sport, there's sometimes obstacles that come up along the way. And for you, that looked a lot like not having support from family as far as raising your daughter. Of course, you have the support of your husband, which is amazing. But how did you know that this was a good time for you to really commit to competing? And what kind of obstacles did you face along the way that you had to overcome aside from that?
I think the fact that my daughter now she's almost 5, and she's more independent and she goes to daycare for longer. So now I have more of this free time and of her help. It's like I don't need to feed her anymore. She can eat by herself. So that makes things easier. So that's why I thought that, okay, so right now it's a good moment to do it.
Yeah.
And obstacles is just that sometimes you have to travel a lot because of my husband's competitions. So
Hmm.
actually, when I was 1 week out, we were in Kentucky, and so I brought all my meals with me. I had like 1 kilo of cooked tilapia and asparagus, and I brought everything to the hotel. I got like 3 extra meals just in case. But then last day our flight got canceled, So we had to be there for another day, and I had no extra food. So I was like, okay, so what do I do now? So I went to the supermarket and there was like rice cakes, and there were like some hard-boiled eggs, and there was like rice cakes and egg whites, and then I had to manage with what I had.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's like that champion mentality. It's like, I'm going to live this lifestyle. I got to be able to do it while I travel. Things are going to come up.
Yeah.
So you just make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. And it worked. It worked. If
Absolutely.
you really want to do it, it works.
Yeah, there's no excuses at that point because you want it, you can find a way. That's part of why I really like even tracking macros is because then if you need to make an adjustment, you can, and it's very easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you are a coach too, and then and an athlete, it's easy for me because I understand what I hired a coach because I think it's important to have like a third eye to help you, someone that was like doing bikini and dealing with bikini pros. But I know, like, I understand of the macros, how much fat I should have, how much, you know, carbs, and that makes it easier for me to do the substitutions too. It's just, I think it was more important for me to have a coach, to have accountability, like someone that I would, do check-ins with and help me to stay committed.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think it's great to have that. Like coaches really do need coaches, mentors need
Mm-hmm.
mentors, therapists need therapists, because
Yeah.
knowledge is not immunity. And when we're in this sport, we can get the prep goggles and we can get really critical of ourselves. So it is nice to have other people with their eyes on us to really make sure we're dialed in at our best.
Yeah, and then it's exchange of knowledge too. What do you think about this approach, about this? We learn and we teach. I think it's good for both sides. I think everybody needs a coach. I do think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that said, I mean, do you have anything that I haven't asked you that you think that I should have asked you?
No, I don't know. I think we went through a lot.
Yeah, no, me too. And I do of course want to get your best advice for people who haven't competed before but would like to, and then your best advice for those on their road to pro.
If you want to compete, I think the first thing you do, you hire a coach. You hire a coach and you commit to the plan. If you really want to compete, you are going to have to follow a meal plan and a workout routine, and you have to do it. And if you want to compete, you want to win, so you got to follow the plan. You got to be committed to that, and to know that you're gonna have to go out and order steamed asparagus or spring mixed salad while your friends are gonna be drinking wine or eating steak, and you need to have the mindset.
Hmm.
And for the pros, I think that it's time. It's time. Everything has its time, and to become a pro, you need muscle maturity. That doesn't happen overnight. You need to, it's a process. So enjoy the process and don't rush for this pro card. It's going to come when it's time for you, when you're ready to compete, to people that have the pro physique.
Love that advice. And how can people connect with you, maybe even work with you or follow your journey?
Yeah, so they can email me. My email is Ana Salles, Salles, fitness@gmail.com. Or my Instagram, same thing, Ana Salles Fitness. I also have a website, anasalesfitness.com, and then they can send me emails or direct messages that I always answer.
Awesome. I'll make sure that all gets in the show notes page, but I do appreciate you taking the time today to do this interview with me. It was really awesome. And to everybody listening, you can find all of that information on celestial.fit/podcast. If you're listening right away, the episode's at the top of the page. If you're listening in the future, scroll down to the categories section, which is alphabetized. You'll be able to find Anna's episode there. along with not just the links that were just mentioned in her email, but also you'll find a summary of the podcast, summary of all the topics discussed, as well as timestamps, so you can go back and listen to your favorite parts. So Anna, thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you.
Yes, you too. It's my pleasure. And to everybody listening, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world while you're listening to this episode.